welcome to Thelma's podcast. I hope you guys are enjoying your Friday and the weekend. Lost my voice a little bit. That's the perks of being a teacher. Okay, so I would like to invite a guest of mine. Yes, from Canada. It's a cinephile, Aum Deoli. I feel that's how you say it. All the way from Canada. I just found out recently it was from Canada. I thought it was from the UK. But yeah, it's going to tell us all about being a film reviewer.
Well,
Hello.
hello, nice to meet you. And
Hey, can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Lovely. I want to see you properly. That's it. Okay, so introduce
Yeah, I can
yourself
see
to
you.
us, please.
Okay, my name is Aum Deoli. I'm a 21-year-old, and I've been running this film account since late 2017. And
2013.
no, late 2017.
2017. Okay, lovely. Nice one.
Mhm.
So, you are a film reviewer. You review films, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Can you tell me when did that passion of film started for you? Because you're 21, and from what I see, it's like you know so much about films.
Yeah, I think the passion was always there since when I was a kid. Like I was just interested in watching these stories being told on screen, and then when I was around you know, around 12 or 13, I started to focus more on the storytelling aspects of a film and how to analyze them. And then I started to watch movie reviews and see that there's an audience for there's an audience of people who are engaged in hearing about other people's opinions on film and that kind of stuff. So I kind of just, also took interest in just sort of sharing my opinions and, on Instagram and see how many people agree with them, pretty much.
That's amazing because I see you have a huge following. A lot of people really they like
Mm.
what you do. That's how I think I saw because I love films. I did the degree as a filmmaker, and I'm like, this is fantastic. So basically, talk me through it. So a film is released, and then what do you do? What do you do after that when the film is released?
Yeah, yeah. When the film is re after the film is released, I usually try to watch it in theaters, within the first week or two if it's a film that I'm really looking forward to, or sometimes, you wait on you wait till the film is on streaming, and then I watch it, and then I kind of try to let it sit with me. Um, Recently I've been trying to rewatch films in theaters too, and yeah, I try my best to just, focus on the film and try to soak in every image and just try my best to write a review of it. I find I think I find negative reviews a bit easier to write than the positive ones because with oftentimes when it comes to a good film, you usually your reasoning can come down to, very similar things, like this had good acting, this had good directing. But I think with the bad films, there can be multiple different kinds of reasons, and there are some bad films where, or if not even bad, just very down the road mediocre films where there are a lot of qualities about it that are extremely good. Like there could be some solid acting or directing, but if the story, if the screenplay isn't fully there, then it can still make sort of the whole thing fall apart. So with negative reviews, there just seems like there is a lot to explore and write about. So
Okay, so once you're
yeah, that's
here,
kind of my process.
that's fantastic. So what you're saying, writing negative reviews is easier. Can you tell me why you find it easier to? Because I feel like positive, there's so much you can say to encourage people to watch it. So why writing reviews is easier?
Um, I don't know, in my account, I actually don't even write that many negative reviews. Usually my reviews do tend to be positive. Like a lot of films or TV shows I've reviewed, I've given between an 8 or a 9 out of 10. But then Um, but yeah, like I said, with um, like negative reviews, like I feel like I just have like more things to explore because it's like with like when you're watching a bad film, if it just like if it just like starts like in a like in like not in the best ways, like as the film goes on, that like you kind of just start to notice more things about it. Like
Okay.
you usually that you might not like it kind of just makes your brain like start thinking more. It's like it's like so like this performance is not the best, and then it's like how much of it could be because of the actor, or is it also partially because of the director? Because if
Mm-hmm.
every single performance in the film is so consistently, not the best, then like it probably is, because of the director and maybe just not being given clear directions or like anything in the script and so on.
Mm. Interesting. So, I see that recently you reviewed the film Napoleon, and I
Yes.
really want to watch this film. So, can you please
Mhm.
tell me what is your take on that? Have you watched the film?
Yes, I've seen the film.
Obviously, don't tell me the story. I mean, I've learned a lot about him anyway. But what is your opinion on that film? What is the review? Did you give a positive? Did you give a negative or mixed?
Mhm. The review was kind of mixed to negative. Like it's a film that when I first saw it in theaters, like I thought like maybe it's all right, like around like a six, like and not one of Ridley Scott's best films or anything. And then I kind of let it sit with me, and then the rating slowly started to go down, and then I ended up giving it a four. Um, yet the problem with the film is that the version of the film that they released in theaters is a cut down version. And the original film is supposed to be between four and a half hours long, and then this got cut down to 2.5 hours.
Mm,
And there are many points in the film where you kind of do get that feeling that like this scene was probably cut down, and that there were like probably supposed to be two or three scenes somewhere in the middle that also got taken out, and so the film just ends up feeling kind of weirdly disjointed, and like it
mhm,
doesn't feel like it has like a proper progression. It kind of just jumps to like series of events, like he just got married and now he's like suddenly in Egypt for about 10 minutes, and like it's like building up to a battle, but
mm,
then like there is no payoff. So it's kind of like, then why were we in Egypt for 10 minutes like of the film? And then it's like they get into these different political conflicts, and they go to war with different countries, but it's like but like you as the audience are never given any context as to who some of these characters are, and it's like, why
mm,
are we here? It's like you're in conflict with Russia, it seems, and you were signing a treaty which has like a name of a place that's in Germany though, and so it's like I as an audience would probably want to know about that, right?
mhm,
Like what is it
mhm.
about that place
You're
or
right.
these people? It's like the like when he is in conflict with like the Russian Emperor, Tsar Alexander the First. At first, like Napoleon is like, no, me and him are friends. He's like a young friend uh, of mine. I'm like his mentor. He could never betray me. And then
Mhm,
a couple scenes later, we are told that uh, Alexander first betrayed him, and now they're at war. But the problem is, we never actually saw these two characters even talk to each other. We didn't even see Alexander, so it's like, who's this character in this relationship? Like, we don't even know any of it. So it's kind of like, now that they're about to have a fight, but I don't know the relationship between these characters, so I'm not as engaged.
mhm,
And that's also what kind of what the film does. Characters just sort of come in and out of the film. Like they aren't always properly developed. Like Napoleon's younger brother plays a pretty important character earlier in the film, and then he just disappears in the second half. At first, I was thinking like, did he die? But then like if you do your quick Google research, you realize that he actually died like years after Napoleon. So when you're
Mm,
watching the movie, you kind of just like are like left wondering what exactly happened to him. Like, why did he disappear?
mm.
And so it's like the film,
Complicated.
really, yeah, it's like the film really feels cut down, and it's like, it's like, why would you want to watch half of a film, right? Because it is like a half of a film. It's incomplete, and it's like, okay, sometimes, like if you're releasing this movie in theaters, sometimes you have to cut them down because I can understand a really like a long 4 hour film can be a lot. Like the Lord of the Rings movies were also cut down, but at least, not as significantly as Napoleon. And even if you are going to cut the film down, you should still try to find the scenes that, still have like a natural plot progression. Like it made me sort of think of that Peter Jackson's Beatles documentary that came out 2 years ago, which is this 3 episode long documentary series.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's only 3 episodes, but each episode is quite long. It's between
Yeah.
2.5 to 3 hours. So, by the end of it, you're looking at almost 8 to 9 hours of content. But then when he did early screenings for the film, he showed a very cut down version of it that was only 2 hours. And then um, and then in theaters, they also released like an hour and a half long version, which was just showing like the Beatles' rooftop concert. So it's like with that documentary, you are cutting down a lot of footage to
Mm-hmm.
show it in theaters, but it's still footage that, is telling a cohesive story. Like, you're getting from point A to point B. So even though the footage is cut down, it's still able to capture the overall story, and it satisfies the subject matter, and it also satisfies the audience, the fans. Napoleon wasn't able to do that, and so it was just like a really frustrating
Mm.
experience because of that.
Yeah. How long is the film again? 2 hours and a half?
Yes,
Oh.
the one with the version in theaters right now.
So I'm gonna ask you, what is your favorite film?
My favorite film ever. Right now it's Martin Scorsese's Taxi Driver.
Mm.
Uh, for now, and the reasoning is like the reasoning is I find myself like over time I've just found myself more and more um engaged by um flow-driven character studies, like because with a lot of character studies it's mm, like yes, every single film has a plot,
Yeah.
but sometimes some films are kind of more about just sort of hanging around with the characters.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're less about just telling a straightforward story and more about first trying to capture a character and what their mindset is
Mm-hmm.
like, and like that's what I liked about Taxi Driver. It's like a really engaging study on like this very unpredictable, violent character who you don't fully understand, and like he really keeps you on edge throughout the entire 2 hour runtime. Like
Wow.
the first 20 to 30 minutes of the film, he's in love with this woman, and like when you're watching it, as you're watching it, like you're thinking, is this going to be some kind of like a dark romantic drama? But then after his relationship with her goes wrong, and he's like talking about how much he like hates society, and then he wants to kill a politician. It's like the film keeps taking these different turns, and I was like deeply invested in just seeing how this character operates, like how he's like such a troubled, unpredictable character, but you're still interested in seeing like what next move he's going to make. And I think Robert De Niro just like did a really good job at playing that character, Travis Bickle, and with Martin Scorsese, like a lot of his films, as we know, are crime uh movies. He's made about almost 30 films at this point, and five, six of them have been related to gangsters. A lot of them have also been crime, thriller, and it's like with Scorsese, his goal is kind of to like just trying to explore this like violence and greed. that like has always been there in America since like the start of the country, and it's kind of like some of that white supremacy, and like it d deeply engages me.
Yeah, I like Scorsese as well. I like his films. I'm a big fan. I feel like what I like about Scorsese is, I mean, you are the expert about this, but I love the fact that he makes the characters so engaging. I feel like he knows the character in his mind. He knows what he wants, and he tell
Mhm.
his actors, "That's what I want you to do." I feel like he makes them do the work. You need to transform to that character. You have to be like that. You have to eat like that, think like that, breathe like I don't know. But he's such a good director because everything he wants, everything in his mind is exactly what you see. This is
Yeah,
exactly. This guy is a genius.
yes, and like what also makes it work so much uh, well, even like in a surprising way is that as focused as he is, he still like allows his actors to improvise so much.
Yeah.
Like you watch all of his uh films and then like look at the script, and then like you would look at like a certain scene from a script and it's like 2, 3 pages long, and then you watch it in film and you just see how much like it gets stretched out because these actors just keep bringing their own things, but the actors still have like enough control that they never like completely throw this scene off, like you never lose focus of
Hmm.
what this scene is. And it's like in a lot of Scorsese's films, like if you look a bit carefully, you do notice there are, like things like continuity issues, like a character's, position or some object that they might be holding keeps changing. But again, like it never really ruins the flow of the scene. Like the takes and the angles that they use work well enough. And I think him and his longtime editor, Thelma Schoonmaker, have also said that they're not always editing, based on continuity, but also, just more importantly, based on which a take has just the best performances. And like sometimes like in his films there are like some like edits like these like cuts that you don't even notice actually. Like I just learned like yesterday that in Killers of the Flower Moon there is a hidden cut in a scene where Robert De Niro is talking, and it's just like this like medium close up of his face, and apparently there was a cut somewhere there and it's almost unnoticeable unless
Yeah.
if I guess if you're like looking really closely and like you think, oh, I guess I guess he turned his head really fast and maybe that's where the cut was. But like the shot and like the positioning of Robert De Niro as he's talking, it's like it just seems so seamless. So it's like, it's like almost impossible to pin down when exactly was your cut. And like his films, it's like everyone is kind of just working at the top of their game,
Hmm.
and like
Hmm.
I really appreciate that.
That's fantastic. Also, what I like is that he makes us fall in love with the villain. He makes them so good. I mean, listen, this guy, if we were to talk about this man, I think we'll be here until next year. I don't even,
Yeah,
this guy is just a genius.
there's like
I'm
extremely a
happy
lot to
that
say about him.
yeah, I mean, I like the film that he does. I've studied some of his films. Fantastic. Listen, as I said, if we talk about this guy, we're gonna be here until next year. So anyway, I wanted to ask you as well. So, sorry to ask you this, yeah, but where are you from originally? I mean, I know you live in
Oh,
Canada, but where are you
yeah.
from originally?
I'm actually from India originally. Yeah, I was born in Mumbai and then kind of, lived for a good chunk of my childhood in this other city called Dehradun because my parents were, busy working, so I would like live with my grandparents from my dad's side and my uncle a lot until we moved back to Mumbai, and then in 2011 is when we came to Canada, kind
Hmm.
of, just to see what this other country is like and explore other things. And I've been here since then,
Okay,
pretty
how is
much.
it like to live in Canada?
It's a nice country. Compared to India, in Canada, there is a bit more uh, freedom. There are a bit. like the equal rights are in medical stuff is obviously a bit better. There's more diversity and like I appreciate those kinds of things a lot. And
Amazing.
like, like being here, it's also easier to pursue your passion for films and stuff. Like I live in this city called Surrey, which is, like very close to Vancouver, which is where a lot of the film art activities happen. So I'm kind of, privileged to be here in that sense.
So, I mean, I know Canada is next to, the United States. So obviously, the film industry in the United States will be stronger, I think, in Canada. So,
Mhm.
is there films that come from Canada, or you guys mainly watch films from the United States?
Oh yeah, we mainly only watch movies from the United States. Like every movie theater here, they either only play movies from Hollywood or some films from India. Because in Surrey, like the Indian population is quite a lot, and so so those are the only kinds of movies that play here. Like in Canada, most people don't know what Canadian movies are. We don't really have like a proper film industry or actors. We kind of do, but that's in the province of Quebec. And the
Hmm.
thing is that Quebec is kind of, they kind of they act like as if they're their own, small French country. They're kind of,
Hmm.
detached from the rest of Canada. So it's like, like all the film stuff kind of that
Hmm.
happens in Canada, it just happens in Quebec and not really the rest of the country. But like every now and then, um, which is not very often. It's like once in a blue moon where there might be a Canadian film that becomes kind of famous, that some people are kind of talking about, like the movie Blackberry, which came out this year, which was a comedy biopic about how the BlackBerry company was invented and like how its rise and then fall, how for like almost 10 years or so it was like yeah, like for almost 10 years or so, it was like the biggest phone company in the world until iPhones came and BlackBerry business
Yeah.
just was completely destroyed. And so, and then like I found out that BlackBerry was actually a Canadian company too. So
What? Wait,
like
wait, 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 wait.
that was a
Back up.
solid film.
BlackBerry is
Yeah.
a Canadian company.
Yes, like it was founded in Waterloo, in the city of Waterloo in Ontario around the mid 90s.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic. I never knew that. Honestly,
Yeah, you don't need it.
that's fantastic to know. Listen, I want to say a big thank you for coming. So, what would you
No problem.
say? My last question, what would you say to young people that would like to review films like you? What would you say to them? What would be your main advice?
It would be to kind of, just be as honest about your opinions with films and TV shows as much as possible. It's like sometimes, people um like to like please other people, like someone else might have certain opinions on a film, and then you yourself kind of then like lie, or if not net lie, but like not tend to um give like a different version of your opinions to, please others. But it's like, kind of like to just be honest about like how you feel and it's like their films and TV shows,
Hmm.
it's art, it's everyone has different opinions about it, it's subjective and like it's not the end of the world or anything. So, kind of like just create like your own opinions and find your own voice when you're talking about them. Like you and your reviews, like they don't even have to be, like in depth, like analysis. They don't have to be that long. It's like as long as you feel like you can get, like the overall general consensus of what the film is like, what worked and didn't work. Like it should be all good. And like it definitely does take a while to grow your audience.
Hmm.
And like when I started this account, I didn't started it with the intention of it being like a film reviewing account. Like it was originally kind of just like my account where I just like post pictures of me like when I was in high school and stuff, while also talking about movies on the side. But then I slowly uh, came to learn that my film stuff was doing better, that like more people were actually engaged in that. So like I was quite surprised to learn that people were interested in my opinions, and so I just started focusing on that from there. And like, it takes a while for the audience to grow. Yeah,
Just keep going. I love what you do. I had a look
thank
at your
you.
account, I had a look at what you do, and it looks like I like that you're on it. Every film out, you do your research. You don't just, oh, I watched it. They said, I feel like you really do your a lot of research. You know, the characters, the setting, the story. So keep up the great work. Honestly, that's
Thank
all I
you.
can say to you. And I can't wait to read more reviews that you do. All right.
Thank you.
Honestly, a
Yes,
big
and,
thank
and
you.
like
Hmm?
yeah, and yeah, like I also had just a couple of questions for you. Like
Yeah,
what
go on.
got
Tell
you
me. Ask me.
interested in it's like what got you interested in movies and stuff like that.
Okay, so basically, when I was younger, I used to live in Switzerland. So I
Oh
was
yeah.
born in Portugal, and then I
Hmm.
grew up in Switzerland. And I remember I used to love TV. I used to watch films, movies, series, and obviously in Switzerland, we watch a lot of American films and also French films because in Europe, I feel like the French they do a lot of films every year. They always
Yes.
get things out. So I was already interested in a French New Wave, and I was interested in the French films, and I was like, listen, films is my life. I love it. And then when I came to live in England, I somehow I didn't know what to study, and a teacher asked me, oh, when I was learning English, they said, look, Thelma, your English is good enough. You need to put into something. What qualification do you want to do? And I said, okay, good question. And then I was like, I actually don't know. He said, but what is it that you like? I said, I like films. I like movies. He said, oh, why don't you do a filmmaking course? Film studies and video productions. And I say, why not? And the thing is, the fact that you love watching films is different to actually working in the industry. So this is nothing to like loving something and actually doing something is two different things. So it's about
Hmm.
learning, more about the characters, learning the setting, learning exactly what the message is. It's a lot of things that one person to bring all of this is just yeah. So I was so interested in that, and I worked in the film industry. I worked in a production company when we were doing adverts, music videos, we were doing documentaries. I quite liked it. And then, things didn't work out, unfortunately. But the one thing I would say is the film industry is so competitive, it's so hard to get into. But
Yes.
I'm telling you, it's hard. But the one this is what you want to do, keep going. Me, I know one day I will go back to it in my own time, but it is something that was like I always liked it. The actors, the directors, the setting, the story. That's what got me into film. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also slowly trying to make my way into the film scene. Like I take some interest in writing and directing, and like I try my best to come up with ideas, write some things.
Yeah.
It's a slow process, but I'm
You
trying
get
to
there.
get there eventually.
Yeah, you get there. Honestly, like you said, be true to what you want to say, what exactly film you want to come out. Don't look, oh yeah, I'm Indian, I need to do a Bollywood film. Oh, I live in Canada, I need to do a Canadian film, or American. Just
Mm.
do what it is that you really want to do. Forget what other
Yeah,
people are doing.
saying like anything that interests you, pretty much.
Basically, yeah, that's one thing I've learned. You have to stand out, you have to be unique. Because if you copy somebody else, they'll be like, but that version was better. Your one is, you don't need that. You don't need because it's not easy world. But trust me, when you get there, hang on because you meet so many great people. You meet so many great opportunities out there. So trust me, you need to go for it. You are young. It doesn't matter the age anyway, but go for it. I can't wait to see you doing your film. I really can't wait. I'm sure it's gonna be great because you look like you
Thank
got
you.
all the knowledge. You know everything about inside out about film. So all I can say is really all the best to you.
Thank you.
Yeah. We're gonna
Yeah,
keep in touch
thank you.
definitely, all right?
Yes, definitely. Okay, thank you
Take
for
care, yeah?
having me here. Take care.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.